Hello, happy AT Friday guys. If you didn't already know, it is raining outside. Well, now you do because look at my hair. Today I am reviewing the Blazepods. It's not really a piece of assistive technology as such, but more a really cool therapy aid that I don't think a lot of therapists are aware of, and we've found it a really handy tool to use within therapy sessions for a range of things, whether it be sensory regulation, activities to focus on core strength, crossing the midline, coordination, reaction time, visual scanning, visual tracking, and of course upper limb therapy, which is something I do a lot. That's an area of interest for me as a therapist. So with my clients who I see for upper limb therapy, we use the Blazepods a lot. So they come in this case. I will grab them out to show you what I am talking about. The Blazepods are essentially, it's a group of devices that use Bluetooth technology to connect to an app on your phone, and they light up and they are a sensor. So when they light up, once it's tapped, the light will shut off. And then, so the more pods you have, obviously the more variety you'll have with the activities that you do with Blazepods. So before I go into any further detail, I'll show you a few snippets. Hope you enjoyed that. So, more Blazepod chat. A pack of 6 retails for $649 Australian. They are an expensive item. So that includes the charger dock and the cord that you plug the charger into, 6 pods and a case. So I personally think worth every cent, just because of the variability for their use and how many different therapy outcomes you can use the Blazepods to try and achieve. So since we've got them, I've implemented them in probably 70% of my therapy sessions that are clinic-based. And I've had really positive feedback from all the clients that I've used them with. It's just a fun thing, something different to add to therapy sessions. The only criticism I do have of the Blazepod is that it is not hypersensitive at all. It does take a little bit of force to get the sensors to recognize that it's being tapped. For someone with full upper limb function, that's not an issue. But for those clients that I see for upper limb therapy, where there maybe is, reduced strength and they're not as able to put the amount of required force onto the Blazepod, it can be a little bit frustrating to get that sensor to register, and it does need a fair whack to get it to shut off. However, there is a solution. Ta-da! So this is a stabilizing mat sold through Blazepods. It is $30 for one. What the stabilizing mat does, as you might have guessed, is it stabilizes the Blazepod. So sometimes what we find when we're doing upper limb therapy, if we don't have a great amount of control over our movements, sometimes the force we apply can cause the Blazepod to topple over. So the Blazepod sits in the mat, kind of like this. Just push it down. And what it does is it stops the Blazepod from moving, rolling over, and it also increases the sensitivity a little bit. Battery life, you get 8 hours out of the Blazepods. on a full charge. So that's plenty. We get at least 8 to 10 therapy sessions worth, depending on how long we use them for. So I will now run you through the apps.
Okay, so this is the Blazepod app. This is the home screen. You can see up in the right hand corner there's a pod symbol. This is how I connect the pods. So all the pods that are within range will appear. I just tap the Bluetooth symbol and they will connect to the app. If I want to know which pod is pod 1, for example, I just tap the light bulb and it will light up that pod. I can choose out of any of the already created and saved activities that we have made, or I can use any of the Blazepod created and suggested activities. There is a lot to choose from. So to create an activity, we just tap the plus symbol here, and we can choose all kinds of settings, from the amount of pods we're using, the amount of players, what colors that we're using, up to 7 colors, when the lights are out, if there's a light delay time, duration of the activity and whether that's dependent on time or hit count or both, and cycles of the activity.
So a couple more quick things on the Blazepods. So the range from pod to smartphone device, or whichever device you are controlling the Blazepods from, is 40 meters. In addition to the stability mat, you can also get, which we haven't got yet, but I would like to, Nikki, there's functional adapters, they call them, that you can buy, which is like a mount that goes inside the Blazepod, and it has a strap so you can mount the Blazepods off the ground, which is good for reach, target practice, reach, and getting some more range with upper limb movements above shoulder height. There's lots of outside the box ways you can use the Blazepod. One way I recently used them was in a social skills therapy session with a client. We used 3, and I used 6 different colors, and what we did was we associated a color with a topic, or another color meant ask a question, another color meant tell a story, another color meant tell a joke. So that was a really cool way of using them. So whichever color lit up, we took it in turns. So if it was blue and I had to ask a question, I asked my client a question, and then when I was done, I got to turn the light off and I got a point, and vice versa. So that was another really cool way of using the Blazepods in therapy. They are the Blazepods, guys. A really cool therapy tool, in my opinion anyway, for OTs, physios, speech pathologists, personal trainers, exercise physiologists, anyone within that kind of field. Well worth the cost, and lots of different uses. There's a variety of ways they can be implemented to make therapy sessions a lot more engaging and a bit fun. So as always, if you have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, stay dry and stay safe. Happy Friday, guys.